Righto Nick, this is inside my train shed. At the moment we're standing where a large steel trestle bridge will be, where that back scene is just up on the top along there. That's going to be the station area up there, or the yard, depending on which country you happen to be in at the time. So if you can imagine where that train sitting where the tunnel mouth is, there will be a steel trestle bridge that will cross from over here and go right across that gap to end up just about where the top of that tunnel mouth is, somewhere in that middle space there. Now that's going to be done out of a micro-engineering trestle, which of course is made up of those sort of pieces. So there's about 6 of those I've got to build. I've got 5 built now. They take a little bit of time to do. Now, if you can imagine, you will then come onto here. Now all these points are made from Fast Track's point jigs. They're very quick, very simple to use. At the moment all the electrics are just temporary, but I use tortoise switch machines. Now this isn't double track, it's a siding or a passing loop. That of course is an Athearn Genesis FP45, which I've been having lots of fun with, but I finally got it to run properly. And that's just a temporary test train that's sitting up here. Now basically there's 2 levels here and everything drops 18 inches. So this is in a falling gradient all the way around. That's the end of the passing loop here. That loop's big enough to handle a 35 car train of 60 foot cars with 3 diesels on it. Something like that, which is a Kaito SD80 Mac, one of 2, as I've only been able to get the 2. Now this loop is about 5 foot 6 inch radius. It was originally going to be double track, but it got too tight for most of my steam locomotives, some of which are brass, so it wouldn't work very well. Now basically, come down here, somewhere in there where the drill's sitting, where that piece of plywood is, there's going to be a coal mine of sorts. I haven't decided on what style it's going to be, but I've just finished putting in these points. That's a 3-way, as you can see there. I'll do a 2-way, I'll do a pair of sidings there, and that's a Bachmann 2662 sitting there with a BLI 210-2 and a Kaito GP35. Rogues Gallery, some of these, like that SD40. That locomotive there's about 26 years old now. Still goes. One of the first ones I ever did. Replaced fans, put ploughs on it. It's in a very early Athearn. Same with the 2 locomotives at the back there. Again, very early Athearn locos. Now this area here, about where those sidings end, there will be a tunnel mouth. Most of this, where this junk sitting here, will be cut away, and that will be a hill with a bit of a river running across the edge there. Another tunnel mouth, more Rogues Gallery. This is what happens to cars when you let them fall and hit the concrete floor. They tend to self-destruct. And here we have a pair up in a mountain cab forwards, sitting on a test train. You'll have to pardon the shaking, but I forgot my stand, so I'm standing on my knees at the moment to get down low enough so you can sort of see the train. Now, at the moment this is just a test train. I wouldn't normally run a cab forward with these ore cars and things, but it was just a trying to give them something to pull. Now the moment that finishes at that point there, which I just put in yesterday or last night, now eventually that comes all the way around here, wraps around where all this stuff's sitting. There's actually going to be about 8 tracks running up through there. 2 4-track siding, well 1 4-track siding, 1 3-track siding and one running mine. And eventually it loops all the way up round the back. And all up around the back there, I haven't exactly decided exactly what's going in there yet, but I think it's 3 figure-8 loops linked together. Should be interesting. Anyway, back to the cab forwards. The cab forward at the rear here, as you can see, there's no Southern Pacific on the tender, because it's SP decided in its infinite wisdom that as these locomotives got so dirty, they didn't need to be painted or have any names painted on the tender, so they didn't bother. Now that one's been modified. I've taken the weight out and I fitted 2 1.22 inch QSI high bass speakers. Gives you much deeper sound, not necessarily louder or anything like that, but it gives you a better quality sound. Whereas the locomotive at the front, which has got the name on the tender, runs with the 2 standard, very nasty 1/4 watt Mylar speakers, which really are not terribly good. So you get a much higher pitch sound, tends to be louder because of the higher pitch. Why I don't know, but it just does. But it's a terrible setup inside the tenders of these 2 locomotives. But anyway, as you can hear the air pumps, which is very distinctive sound on Southern Pacific locos. The horn's a little weak, but anyway, be that as it might, I've just stood up because my knees can only take so much on this cold concrete floor. Okay, I run off NCE radio, so it's all very simple. Just give it the forward and away we go. Now these 2 cab forwards are original Intermountain cab forwards and have the slow speed gearboxes, so they tend to be a little bit slow in the takeoff.